What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host and producer this afternoon, Logan Landers. Join me to talk about the impressive quarterback, Joe Milton III, coming out of Tennessee with the Volunteers. Help me out over the guy over at FirstRoundMock.com, writing some tremendous articles and now doing some great on-camera work for us at 100 Yards Football, Mr. William Yanish III. How you doing this afternoon, man?
Oh, I'm doing great, Logan. How about yourself, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Excited to talk about Mr. Joe Milton. Before we get into it, though, guys, if you enjoyed the episode, give us a like, follow, and subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. Also, go and download our podcast. So, Mr. Yash, we're going to just have a nice little conversation today about what we like about Joe Milton, what we think where he could go, and stuff along those lines. So, I'll let you kick things off, man. What do you like about Joe Milton?
Well, Joe Milton, he's definitely an enigma of sorts. He's been around from Michigan to Tennessee, in a lot of different quarterback battles, won some, lost some, going back and forth. But I mean, his physical skills coming in, at 6'5", 235 pounds is just, and the guy's idol is Cam Newton. I mean, that pretty much explains him. But without the pop so much, this guy might last a little bit longer in the league.
Yeah, hopefully so, man. Because we know, look, we film from the Atlanta area. At least I am from Georgia. Cam was a special player, man. All throughout high school. Sad he went to Auburn. But hey, he had a great Heisman winning career there, and ultimately did his thing in the NFL, won an MVP, and unfortunately, injuries just got to him. Injuries, and wasn't like he was super old when he retired, but just how it is sometimes. But overall, though, man, left his mark, and I see that with Joe Milton. But I say that because I think Joe Milton maybe has a few better qualities than Cam Newton. When I say that, he is a absolute gunslinger, and I think you could agree with me. This guy might have the strongest arm, not just in the SEC, but in college football coming into this draft.
Yeah, like ever, possibly.
You say that, but if you've seen both game footage where he can just chuck it 50 yards like it's nothing, but also I remember at the combine, they were throwing passes, and I believe he hit the roof with how far he threw the ball.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane.
Last year, everybody, with their Anthony Richardson AR-15 bit, this guy is 5 times quarterback that Anthony Richardson is. This is what everybody, thought Richardson was coming out. And I don't understand how Milton, he's not getting the hype. He's been through that adversity, like I mentioned, Michigan, Tennessee. But yeah, man, the guy comes out of the Orange Bowl and tosses an orange, over the length of a football field. Dude's, nuts, man.
He knocks the cover off it basically every time he throws it. Just because it's not just he's just lobbing it; he throws it with like some power too.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's what I like about him. He's got power and precision on his deep ball, which is something that is kind of few and far between. I would say, especially in this draft class.
It definitely is, because this draft class is something else. I think they've all got issues in downfield ball placement to some degree, but this guy is just insane. There's tossing 90 yards without even trying, the flick of a wrist. This is more than Patrick Mahomes and more than Josh Allen. You're putting him up there with in the Jeff George range, and then there's, what was that guy's name? Dieter Brock, he played in CFL for a while and come out, messing around. He must have put some mumbo jumbo on that ball, but, screwing around the day before a game, he supposedly threw it about 93 yards and, a 32-year-old rookie in the NFL.
And what I like too about Milton is he's got a good frame to him. He's 6'5", around 230. He's not scrawny, but he's got some height to him, which I think a lot of people don't really see. They just think, oh, he's just you see him and think, oh, he might be a smaller quarterback. No, he's one of the taller quarterbacks we're going to see in this draft class. And I think one thing people are going to knock, which they're going to knock a lot of people in this draft, is a lot of these guys are 23 and or 24. But also, William, we're seeing that because all of these guys got that extra year, got that COVID year.
Yep.
And we've never seen that before. So, of course, a lot of these guys are going to be older. But with Tennessee, Milton did some really solid work. We know the stats, we know how well he played, and we know that he just looks comfortable in the pocket. He doesn't get kind of shifty feet. He doesn't kind of just go on gut instinct alone. He knows where to go. He dissects a play, he breaks it down, and he makes the best available read that he can make. And I don't understand why he's not getting as much love as all the other quarterbacks. Maybe it's because they finish with better team records, like a Michael Penix, like a Bo Nix, like a Caleb Williams, so on and so forth with the amount of talent we're going to see in this draft class. But when you look at quarterbacks especially, I feel like you need to look at the individual talent themselves because, who's to say I think it's a little bit harder to compare. We'll just say Michael Penix Jr., who's got two wide receivers who are going to more than likely go, early rounds in the draft, to Joe Milton, who didn't have that extent of talent on his roster. You had some good guys, don't get it wrong, but you have to look at the individual when it comes to the quarterback. You have to look at how he shines and how he does. So I think that overall, man, Joe Milton is an absolute star in the making potentially, and could be. I mean, is it safe to say a hidden gem this year?
I think that's plenty safe to say, man. I mean, this guy, if the one knock that I have on him is throwing a fastball every time, and not having much touch. But I mean, I think he can definitely be a hidden gem. This is, like I mentioned, the Anthony Richardson thing, but he also doesn't have the injury history I believe that AR does. He might be a little bit older. So many, like you mentioned, were born in 2000 this year. That goes from Penix, Nix, all of them. Rattler, a whole bunch of them born in 2000. This year. And I mean, this guy has a chance to make some team, really happy, and surprise them in the later rounds, with the style of quarterback, that is evolving in this league and everything else, man. I mean, this dude he's got scary potential, man. And I mean, it's, I don't know how else to say it. I know, my editor at First Round Mock, Daniel, he absolutely loves him. He talks about him and, Jeff George. He's just in awe with that arm strength. And who's not? And dude can play football. He's fought through it. He's proven that he can hang in there, that he won't give up. He's got the adversity beat. He's got everything you want, man. He's the athlete that so many of these teams are looking for, and they're just gonna maybe not even see him this year.
It's crazy. I would say my final thoughts on Joe Milton III: don't overlook him
at all.
You have all the shiny objects in the world with all the quarterbacks. I'm not seeing nearly as much love for Joe Milton as we should, man. That's what I think. What's your final thoughts on him?
I agree with that 100%, man. There's not enough, to be said. He's right there in front of everybody's eyes. Everything that they wanted and say they want, and
right.
He's available. They might as well do it.
Might as well, sir. Well, hey, Mr. William Yanish, and I appreciate you coming on talking about Joe Milton III. Been an absolute pleasure. Guys, if you enjoyed the episode, give us a like, follow, share, and subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. Also, be sure to set your calendars because in just a few short weeks, April 25th, live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be doing a live draft reaction show here on the channel. Check us out and engage with us, talk with us, conversate with us about who you think your team's going to draft, who's going to fall in the draft. We're going to see any surprises, any trades. You get to check us out on the entire first round live on our channel. Once again, coming up here in just a few short weeks. Mr. William Yanish III, I've been your host and producer, Logan Landers. Guys, we'll talk to you again